your girl, Danny, aka Nekoyasha, and I'm bringing you a fun episode of the Blur View with the homie Ninja Senpai. Some of y'all might recognize the boy from previous episodes of the Blur View. And, you know, we're here to answer the many questions that people have asked both of us in the past before about what in the world is the Fate universe and Fate anime. What is this thing that we're so obsessed about? Has so many waifus, husbandos, and the weirdest fandom I've seen, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, oof, that fandom is ridiculous, but we gonna get into that later.
We'll definitely get into that. But we're rocking our favorite character hoodies today. I'm rocking the Gilgamesh Archer, and he is rocking the good old Archer.
My character, yes.
Which we'll get into why that's just Archer.
Don't gotta do me like this. This is just the intro.
It's okay, Faker.
Wow.
We'll get into that in a moment too.
Okay.
All right. So to break it down for y'all, what exactly is the Fate Stay Night franchise? Fun fact, this was actually a visual novel that came out back into the early 2000s, 2004 to be precise, and it was a spin-off of Type Moon's previous work, Tsukihime, which was set up part of the base fieldwork for what is the magical things you'll see inside the Fate universe. And so this eroge visual novel, which means lewd and sexual situation type visual novel, came to be very sexual. very lewd. And it had 3 routes. It had the Fate route, the Unlimited Blade Works route, and the Heaven's Feel route. And those 3 are your basis for the premise of the animes that came out and the big plot that you were gonna expand into these animes. And somehow these animes were able to pick and choose what kind of endings they wanted, because fun fact, the visual novel had 40 plus endings.
It was a lot.
It was a lot, and in those 40 plus endings, most of those were bad endings. So you can easily sink 200 plus hours of gameplay into the visual novel. And in 2007, Type Moon came out with the Realidad Nua version of Fate, which was the clean version, because they wanted that good old PlayStation sales. Because they can't.
Heavy air quotes on clean.
And what do we mean by clean? The premise of this is magic, and Fate is about a bunch of mages getting together over a cup.
A literal cup.
The Holy Grail. That has.
It is an almighty, magical, mystical cup. It's not really a cup. It's more of a goblet. If you really want to be like precise about it, it's really a goblet, but it's holy.
And it has this unlimited plethora of magical power. And this brings us to what the basis of the main plot of the game. It is 7 mages come together in the city of Fuyuki, Japan, where they summon servants from all across time and history, from either the past, the present, or the future of what we don't even know for heroes, into 7 different classes. What are those classes?
We have the sabers, we have the archers, then we have the casters, we have the riders, we have the assassin class, and then we have the berserker. I'm missing some. There's also rulers. There's also grand mages.
How you gonna forget my boy Lancer?
And then there's a Lancer. I save the best for last, remember?
You forgot about Lancer.
Trash.
Just a bit. He forgot about it. But anyway, you're gonna have the main 7 classes, and the mages are all going to summon them with holy relics, which are pieces from folklore that would relate to the classes that they're being summoned. And in the Fate, we're just going to do Fate, just the original visual novel still. So for example, our main character Shiro summons a saber class unit called Artoria, who
Pendragon.
From Arthurian legend, King Arthur, and the catalyst to summon Saber was the Excalibur
Scabbard.
The scabbard, thank you. I couldn't remember the scabbard.
Yes.
So things like that. That is, you're basically trying to find a catalyst to summon your servants. And Shiro unmistakably somehow gets. You learn later on, spoiler alert, that he had the scabbard within him because of stuff we'll get into that happened in the prequel before these Holy Grail Wars. Yeah, I know, guys. I bet you're all you lost already. It's fine, guys. It gets worse.
It's like a Star Wars thing. We'll get into the prequels from the originals. We won't get into it because there's a lot.
And this brings us to why it's called the Arrow novel. As a mage, you have to supply magical energy to your servant, or else they will disappear from this plane, because just because you summon them doesn't mean they'll stay. You have to keep giving them magical energy, and you want to tell them what that magical energy source was.
Shiro didn't get that last part because he didn't even know, let's be honest, he didn't even know what was going on. He was like, how are you still here? Like, I'm a shitty mage. Like, what's...
Yeah. But sexual situations is how you do your mana transfer. So basically you have to get down and dirty with your servants because you have to exchange bodily fluids in order for your servant to stay materialized and energized. And
they cut most of that out. Well, some of that out in actual animes, but in the visual novels, that was all there.
Yeah, so that's why it was an Arrow novel. That was why it was lewd. And when they wanted to get more sales for PlayStation, Sony's like, you can't have a rated R game. It has to either be rated T or M. There's no in between. There's nothing else. So that's why they made the 2007 Real Nua, where they kept the mana transfer, but they just changed it to sucking blood, because that's how you get past child friendly, or make it. I don't even know how you make that child, but that's how they make it so they can get sales and stay under that TM title for ratings. Yeah. But that's fine. But that's how we get to the anime adaptations.
Studi, which one you want to start with first?
we gotta rip the Band-Aid off with Studio D.
Okay, so that's where I actually got introduced into Fate with Studio D, which is probably the most worst way to actually get into Fate.
But to be fair, that's what we had.
That's what we had at the time.
Days of anime. We just had to suffer. That's what we wanted, and it's how it got its foot in the door.
Yeah, that's how I actually got started, and I thought it was good for back in the day, but now that we got like the other series and stuff, I'm realizing, that was a piece of trash. Where'd the budget go? That was because, anime back in the day wasn't well funded as it is now. So it was decent for its time. Mm-hmm. That's how I got to love my boy Archer.
I was just like, I like these characters. It wasn't until Zero I found the love of my life in this series and this whole franchise. But I did enjoy me, Archer. So basically 2006, Studio Dean blessed us with the original Fate anime, which technically covered the Fate route, but they tried to sprinkle in the other routes because they weren't sure if it was going to be greenlit for a second season, but they wanted to try to adapt the visual novel, but they also wanted to appeal to make sure they could have enough episodes. But they were able to get 24 episodes, and the animation is not aged at all. It has aged horribly.
It's not fine wine at all. It aged like a pear.
Yeah.
Or a banana, because that shit was short-lived.
And most Studio Dean's early works have not aged well at all. It's just the way that animation was back then. But somehow they were able to get greenlit to make a movie of Unlimited Blade Works. We don't want to talk about that.
We don't want to talk about that. That was like, That was painful to watch. Actually, that was honestly painful. I couldn't sit through the whole movie. I couldn't.
I somehow sat through all of it because I bought it back in the day, and I'm like, this is just a collector's item on my shelf. It just the show, they tried their best. The early 2000s, early to mid 2000s really tried their best when it came to Fate, just to shove this storyline in. So let's just get into the actual storyline of the OG anime.
Yes.
So once again, we got a whole bunch of mages. You have Rin Tosaka, who is from a prominent mage bloodline that is part of this really old family that is just trying to get to the source of all magic. And to get the source of magic, she needs help from that Holy Grail. So she enters in and summons our boy Archer.
Yes. Then we have the Tosakas. Then we have
The Matos.
the Matos.
And then the Iceburns.
And then the Iceburns, which were basically genetically engineering mages to get said Holy Grail. So basically, what do you call them? Chimeras or
more like homunculus.
Homunculi. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're more homunculi, humanoid homunculi mages that they're made so that they can enter the Holy Grail war to get the Holy Grail.
But they're just like kind of cheated, essentially.
They were cheated so bad because they were so overpowered.
Because it's so weird. Like, this whole universe is weird, as you guys are going to listen. So, like we were talking about the Holy Grail, there needs to be a catalyst to activate the Holy Grail. So what do the Iceburn family do? Not only do they make homunculus, but they also make it so the homunculus act as a catalyst for the Holy Grail. So they can, it's like they have a 2-for-1. It's like, oh, we've got a mage that can summon a servant, but also we have this mage can also turn into the grail and activate it. So it's like, if they win, they don't have to worry about these extra steps. So it's like kind of cheating.
They cheated their whole way to failure, basically. The spoiler warning, but like it was really bad, especially for Ilya. Ilya didn't deserve any of what she had coming.
Yeah, because Ilya is you find out in the original series, she is an Iceburn, and you just know that she is a homunculus. We're gonna put that in quotes. Just put this in quotes. She's a homunculus. And the thing that's so special about the Holy Grail War in the original Fate series is that it happened 30 years too soon, because the Holy Grail War is only supposed to happen every 40 years. Because the last Grail War took place in 1992, right? No.
Was it
1996, sorry.
96.
Yeah, 96. Just because they had to bump up the years because they're trying to make it modern. But basically it happened in the 90s, and for some reason the Grail War decided to be 10 years early. Just 10 years later, we're gonna have another Holy Grail War, and everybody's just like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna have a Holy Grail War. Let's find some servants who are gonna participate in all this, because the Tosakas are still alive, which is how we got Rin and Archer. The Mato family, they're also one of the ancient mages, but they barely had a mage left.
Yeah, they couldn't produce any competent mages.
Basically, so wow, this universe is so weird. So basically, mages in this universe, they have a thing called magical circuits, which is basically the source of their magical abilities and can be passed down through family generations. And you're supposed to marry other strong mages to keep your bloodline strong and keep the magic strong. But for some reason, the Matos, even though they kept marrying people with strong magical circuits, they just could not produce heirs that could keep these magical circuits. And so the grandfather, which is the patriarch. Yeah, okay, I'm like, not matriarch. Yeah, but he is the oldest living family member, decided to use things called crustworms, which basically burrow as a parasite into your body to enhance your magical abilities.
Yeah, let's keep it. Let's keep it like that.
We're gonna put it like that.
Yeah.
But it's not nice, basically. You're
not nice at all.
You're literally sitting in a pit full of parasites. And if you know hentai, you know where I'm going with this. So
yeah.
But little do we know, the heir that they have in there is incompetent Shinji, but
Shinji Mato. Yes.
I'm going to use this also in quotes. He summons a servant. He summons the rider class Medusa, and
bless her heart.
That girl deserves better.
She knew it too, which I fucks with. She knew it too. Like,
she knew. And then behind the scenes, we also have Ilya, who summons our berserker class servant Hercules. Greek myth Hercules.
Greek myth.
Obviously, Shiro summons Saber, who is King Arthur, Artoria. Behind the scenes, the church, yes, the Holy Church, the Vatican, they get involved in this because they're the ones that watch over the war and make sure things are to the T. We'll use that lightly. He's supposed to be, which is Kyrie. And he has assassin, technically, kind of, sort of.
Technically, he has assassin.
No,
assassins just work with him.
Yeah.
Assassin just works with him.
No, I'm thinking of the wrong route, actually. He had Lancer.
Oh, okay. Oh, are we still on Studio Dean route?
Yeah, we're still on Studio Dean. That's
okay.
That's why I was like, wait, no, I'm confusing my routes. I'm sorry.
The Studio Dean route. He did have Lancer.
And I forgot who even had. I don't even remember. That's how I blacked out.
I don't think they use assassin in the Dean route.
He was just kind of there. They mentioned him, but I think he was killed off screen. It's been a while since I watched Studio Dean games. I'm sorry.
We're not rewatching it either. That's painful.
It was just
after the holy trinity of movies that came out for Fate, I'm not touching Studio Dean at all.
And then we have this nobody that summons Medea from Greek lore,
which is the Queen Castor.
And if you don't know who Medea is from the tale best known as the Queen of Colchis and married Jason from Jason and the Argonauts, and she is one of the most prominent witches / mages from Greek lore that followed under not Circe. What is that?
I can't even remember.
She was a Greek goddess that turned people into pigs and animals. But if you know Jason and the Argonauts, and you also know the Iliad and the Odyssey, she was that witch that turned people into animals. I forget her name, but she trained under her. What other servant am I forgetting?
Okay, so we have Saber, we have Archer, we did Lancer, we did Berserker, we did Assassin,
we did Caster. I think.
And Rider, technically.
Yeah, that's what it was. Rider, yeah. Medusa was Rider, so that's all your servants. Assassin gets killed off screen, but so this route just kind of focuses on Shiro and Saber's relationship and their journey through the Grail War. And it was okay.
It was decent.
But again, Studio Dean, they tried their best because they tried to incorporate elements from Limited Blade Works and a little sprinkle of Heaven's Feel in there.
That's why we got confused. We were like, wait a minute.
I was like, that's something like, wait, yeah. So that's what we're going to bring it up to speed to UFO Table, the GOAT.
Yes.
That basically, in my opinion, saved the Fate franchise.
Oh no, they hard carried Fate. Like, let's be honest. With Unlimited Blade Works came out, it was like a whole different Fate. I was like, is this the same Fate I used to watch? Like, this is amazing. The animation got bumped up to god level. The storytelling was amazing. Like, I can actually follow it.
It made sense. You could keep.
And it made sense. Like, I wasn't as confused as I was in Studio Dean. I was like over there trying to piece together puzzles that had no piece.
So Studio Dean came in and was like, you know what? We're gonna properly adapt one of these routes.
No, UFO Table.
Yes, they were like, we're gonna swoop in. We're gonna do it properly so people can be happy. And that's when in 2014. They did Unlimited Blade Works, which was 26 episodes, including episode 0, which was basically a prologue, which kind of summed up everything with the intention of, hey, if you watch the original series or even know a little bit of the visual novel, we're just going to catch you up to speed, because this route specifically focuses more on Rin and Archer and what they were doing per se for this side of the Grail War, with a little bit of Shiro sparked in, because Shiro is still, unfortunately, our MC.
That poor boy.
Yeah, but same thing. It was the same premise, but the difference between the Fate route and Unlimited Blade Works route is what happened with Saber coming in contact with both Lancer and Archer at the beginning of the series. That's where the fork happens. It depends on if Shiro told Saber to stop or didn't tell Saber to stop in time, but still told her to stop. So that's basically where the bridge and the fork happens. And we still have the same thing. Shiro finds the mages fighting. Well, let me back it up. Find out. Yeah, you find the servants fighting. And in this world, you are not supposed to let outsiders, which is non-magical people, see the Grail Wars, any type of inkling. And if they do, they have to die. And Dean, I think they kind of just brushed over that fact that Shiro saw. They're like, hey, oh, he saw this, we're gonna kill him, and Rin saves him. But in this one, you actually see what happens with Rin summoning her servant Archer, that whole backstory, and how Shiro got involved. So it made that story more fleshed out, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what happens. He stumbled up here on accident because he's being a goody two-shoes. It's like, okay, this makes sense. Oh, he has a scabbard in him. Okay, this makes sense why he could summon Saber. Oh, you find out that his dad was actually in the previous adoptive father was in the
that will be the prequel, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into that
shortly,
because they briefly mention it in Unlimited Blade Works that his dad was a mage, but
it was more of like flashbacks in Unlimited Blade Works, but like where Dean left off is that Dean left off at Shiro's perspective of the whole thing, and Unlimited Blade Works is more Ren's perspective. But like you'll see that Unlimited Blade Works was like, okay, we're gonna piece together this mess that you made that Dean left, and you're gonna be like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. That makes sense. So that's what happened to me.
Yeah. So basically, Unlimited Blade Works starts off with you have some sort of knowledge of the Fate series. So if you go into watching Unlimited Blade Works, you're going to be a little confused, but it'll still make sense because everything answers itself. It's just if you have background knowledge of it, you're kind of like already speed course through. But then they kind of go through everything. You just learn the subtle differences between the two, such as everyone's motivations for the Grail, how the Grail is actually going to fully be activated in this one, and more characters like my boy Gilgamesh has more of a backstory, more character antagonistic uses in this one, which is pretty cool. And because of the success of this, UFO Table was allowed to adapt the light novel Fate Zero, which was the prequel to everything from Fate Stay Night universe, which was the fourth Holy Grail War, which took place 10 years before the main series.
Yeah, so that one was basically the war that basically started down this whole other two routes. What I usually tell people is like people would like, should I watch Fate Zero first? I was like, technically, yes.
Yes, but it also will spoil Unlimited Blade Works.
It will completely spoil Unlimited Blade Works, which is amazing, and you shouldn't do that. So I usually tell people watch it after Unlimited Blade Works, so you can get all the nooks and crannies in there.
But you can, and it won't be bad, because essentially, if you watch Unlimited Blade Works, you're going to get some spoilers for Fate Zero. But if you watch Fate Zero, you're going to get even more spoilers for Unlimited Blade Works. So it's like, either way.
You want less spoilers or you want more spoilers?
And it also goes a hand. If you watch Studio Dean, it's like a crash course. So it's like, it also assumes that you watch something when you watch Fate Zero. It assumes you watch something already.
Yeah. And that's with those first three, everyone's like, I don't know where to start. Because if you honestly look up Fate in just like any anime website or anything, you get a whole list. Lot of answers. And you just like, okay, this is a lot. I don't know what's going on here. But it's like those main three are probably what you want to start at. Think of it like this. Studio Dean is the syllabus, okay? No one reads the syllabus. Everyone just skips through the syllabus, which is basically garbage. No one cares. Like, we just skip through it, blah, 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 throw that away. But then Unlimited Blade Works is the course content. Like, everything that you'll need, all the books and stuff. That's Unlimited Blade Works. And then I don't have a good analogy for Phase Zero, I'm not gonna lie, but that's like after probably like the introduction. That'll probably be like the introduction.
It's like Fate Zero is kind of like that. Oh, did you read the syllabus? Okay, here's the calendar. There we go. That's like the calendar that they put inside the syllabus that lets you know all the due dates, the test dates, and all that fun stuff for homework like that. That's kind of like that. But again, it's weird. But Fate Zero is also 26 episodes, including a weird episode 0.
Yeah.
But apparently the UFO table likes doing these episode 0 prologues. It's fine. And there's also, I forgot to mention that there's also a special OVA episode for Unlimited Blade Works where it's just basically an epilogue episode of like what happened at the end of the Grail War. But it's wholesome. It's definitely, you need to watch that because it ties up a lot of loose ends of like what the characters are doing. And that also, like, that's what I mean, it spoils Fate Zero because there's some characters that were in Fate Zero show up in that epilogue episode and you're just like, why are they freaking out over this character? Again, this is so confuddled. Which then brings us up to date to 2017, where UFO Table got greenlit to finally adapt my favorite route personally, the Heaven's Feels route, into a 3-part movie adaptation. Ninja here was fortunate enough to see part 3 during the pandemic.
Oh man, I honestly took like a day off from work. I was like, nah, I'm going to see part 3 because I know that's gonna be my favorite part, and I was not wrong.
Oh.
Lord Jesus.
I have yet to see it still because there's no way of seeing it legally yet, and I want to see it in all its 1080p glory. I don't want, and on a nice big TV, not my computer screen.
Definitely need it on like the whole flat screen TV setup or something.
But essentially, the first part 1 came out in 2017. 2019 was part 2, and 2020, the part 3 was still able to come out, even though there was a whole panorama going on.
I was glad because there was barely anybody in the theater. I wore this sweater, like I was hyped. I was like, yeah, I'm going.
And yes, he did wear his PPE, guys, in case everybody's like, why are you going to movies? He wore his protective gear. We're smart here.
Wore mask. Don't worry about it.
Right. And unfortunately for me, all the movie theaters were still closed. There was one open, but I was not driving 2 hours just to see a movie.
Yeah.
I thought I contemplated it. I really did. But I was like, I'm not driving 2 hours for a movie.
That's a lot. Drive 2 hours to see like a 2-hour movie, to drive another 2 hours. Yeah, I would completely understand.
That's 6 hours of my life. And I was like, no. And the fun thing about the Heaven's Feel route, this one focuses on our third mage, Sakura Mato. That girl deserves the world and so much more.
I have my figures just like right there. I have my Rider and my Sakura just like right there. And Elna.
And in my opinion, I think this is the darkest route out of all 3 personally, just because it dwells into the backstory of Sakura, which you learn that she is actually the younger sister to Rin Tosaka, and her family, I can't even say adopted. They just let her go to the Mato family, and
they basically eated her. That was like, you want her to eat?
Because in this version, because again, there's multiple spin-offs for Fate, and we'll get into, if we have time, we'll get into the other animes that will contradict what happened in this Fate series. In this series, mages are allowed to have children, but they can only have one child to actually become the next heir to the family and to keep the magical crest circuits going in the family. Because the Tosakas had 2, and both of their children had exceptional bloodlines and magical circuits, they gave it to Rin, obviously, to be the next heir, and Sakura was just like, okay, we're still going to teach you magecraft. But the Mato family, as we said earlier, had piss poor children who just could not carry magical circuits. So in true mage tradition, they gave Sakura to the Mato family to help their family out in order to keep their bloodline going, which we're just going to put it as a trigger warning. There was a lot of abuse going on. Basically, all sorts of any type of abuse you can name it happened to poor Sakura, and this route reflects her descent into depression due to being under so much different types of trauma, not to include physical, mental, sexual. verbal, like all sorts of abuse. So
it was literally like a whole plethora of abuse that she had to go
so
through.
if you do go into watching the Heaven's Feel route, please
trigger warnings.
There is a lot of trigger warnings for sexual assault and a lot of trauma, so go into that if that is sensitive to you. I believe there are some YouTube videos out there and some Spark Notes that give the timestamps if you do watch them of where the trigger moments happen, so you can skip past them or look away until while it happens, which is really nice.
Well, what would we classify? Heaven's Feel was rated M.
Technically, yes, rated M. It was rated. It was not rated in theaters, but they said you need at least be 17. So I'd say like rated R, rated M.
It was mostly around that area, so that just gives you a general overview.
If anything, PG-13. If anything, PG-13, because there was no swearing. It's just a lot of blood. So between PG-13 and rated R for suggested viewing, if there's any younger viewers or parents listening to this with their kids, if you think your child can handle these type of topics, by all means, but I say at least make sure they're middle school, 13 at least, because I feel like they have the mental capacity for that.
At least like teens, definitely teens, because it's a lot to take in when you're a little bit younger and not really exposed to that type of stuff. So yeah, because the other two routes, including the Dean version, they weren't that heavy. No.
Yeah, they have killing, but I feel like we're so desensitized to killing at this point. But
teen.
Yeah, but Heaven's Feel just takes that and it's a lot darker, so just go into that. It's a lot darker and it's personally my favorite. Eventually I will see part 3 because I know my favorite stuff happens in part 3. And this one
I want to say it, but it's like
listen, I know what happens to my boy. That's why I want to watch it.
I want to say with all the stuff that happens, and I was like, I'm really waiting for like the whole set to come out so I can just buy it and watch it.
Same.
Again.
Which brings us to the fun point of, if you are trying to buy the UFO table, any versions of the Fates that UFO table mean, please, our good old friends Aniplex, or should I say Moneyplex?
Moneyplex.
They own the rights to the Limited Blade Works, Fate Zero, and Heaven's Feel. So if you know anything about Moneyplex, you are going to have to fork out a lot of money.
Too much money. To be completely honest.
And remember how I said that Fate Zero came out in 2014, 2017, around that time? Those Blu-ray discs are still going for $50 a part.
There's two parts.
There's two parts. And there's no booklets. There's no OSTs. There's no art books. It's just your standard, your Japanese and English audio,
season
your textless,
1. That's it.
Your textless opening and endings, and a couple interviews, your basic stuff, and they want $50 per part. And I'm like, I can't do that.
That was for Fate Zero. What?
Yeah.
How much was the Unlimited Blade Works set? Unlimited Blade Works set was definitely much more.
It was pushing like it's still at the $200, like the $150-$200 mark. Yeah. Again, these series have been out for 10 plus years, pushing 10 years for some of them, and
they're bold.
The only ones that are still cheap, obviously, are the Studio Dean, because the rights.
No one wants that.
So.
Why would you go to a thrift shop and buy trash?
I know. But because of the success of Fate, there have been a bunch of spin-offs that have happened. Most notably is the visual novel, I'm about to butcher this name, please don't laugh at me, y'all. It's Fate Hollow Ataraxia. And it's
you did good.
Oh, thank you. It's basically a what-if sequel that takes place a year after the events of Heaven's Feel / Fate Stay Night. It's like a what if. This is what you're gonna notice. There's a lot of what ifs in Fate, and it just kind of gives like another story of adding in the Avenger class alongside Lancer's true summoner.
Yeah, because that was definitely like no one knew who the true summoner was in Unlimited Blade Works, if I'm correct, if I remember that correctly.
And spoiler alert, there's some weird time travel thing that's going on, and there's like speculation that in like a weird other timeline, Rin technically summoned Lancer. It's like, it's weird. Fate doesn't get its timelines right at all. So like, but in this one, Lancer Summoner was knocked out by the priest curate, and he stole her command seals and took over Lancer. And in this, she's trying to figure out what the hell happened, and they finish all this stuff. It's a fun route, but sadly, it's not in English. It's not ported on any legally way, so you will have to download the Japanese files and hopefully find someone who emulated subtitles for it if you want to play that. And that one's also another like 100+ hour visual novel. Sorry.
I believe they had it on the OG illegal pirate website. If I remember that correctly, they did have it there.
I mean, there's still ways to find it. Yar yar, ha 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 ha.
Yar yar, but I mean, I didn't tell you that.
Right.
I didn't tell you that they literally have almost every Fate series on that list, like all of it.
And then we got manga.
Anime, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
you know. And then we also have plenty of manga adaptations where if you don't want to play the visual novel, we got some manga for you of these routes.
Definitely have all the light novels and manga.
And I do believe the Fate Zero manga is complete. The Fate Stay Night manga is complete.
Most definitely the Fate Stay Night one is complete.
I believe Unlimited Blade Works is almost done, and Heaven's Feel, they're still doing the Heaven's Feel manga, technically still.
Technically.
Yeah.
So everything is going to be like coming to you all eventually if you want to read the complete manga set or have the complete manga set.
And Right Stuff has a lot of the manga on their website to buy if you're interested in reading, if you are a reader and don't want to invest 200+ hours in visual novels. Don't do it. I've done it twice because I hate my life.
That is a lot of reading. That's a lot.
I just like to read, and I like visual novels.
I understand.
Yeah.
I wasn't into the visual novels like that. Think I'm gonna get into the manga just to like brush up on more of my Fate knowledge, because I do like the way they incorporate history into anime and all these different ways. And what Fate is really known for is their gender swapping.
Let's be real. Yes, everyone.
Their gender swapping is immaculate. That's how we have so many waifus.
If you think of some major character in either mythology, folklore, or history, Fate might have gender swapped them.
Francis Drake. Gender swapped.
Musashi, not Musashi. Yeah, Musashi.
Yeah, Musashi, yeah. Gender swapped.
Nero.
Gender
swapped. Mordred.
That's kind of iffy. That borders the line.
Yeah, because I mean, in my headcanon, I see Mordred in the anime as a trans man, but let's be real, there's still a lot of transphobia in Japan.
There is. So it's just like Mordred would probably be. He identifies as a male.
But the creators and
biology-wise, and the creators said no. You're a whole woman. Yeah.
But in the Fate Apocrypha anime, Mordred,
which is where she's from.
Mordred makes it adamant to her summoner. Don't call. Oh my god, I'm already misgendering Mordred. Oh well, I'm sorry. Mordred makes it clear they don't want to be called she. Don't call him a woman. Like, cool.
It's Sir to you. Okay, that's basically what he does. It's Sir or Mordred. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Or my liege, king. Yeah.
My liege, yes. That's gender neutral. That works.
Yes, there we go. So that's where we get to the fun what if things of Fate. So we have Fate of Apocrypha, like I mentioned. It is a what if story that takes place after Fate Zero. Technically it takes place after Fate Zero. But it's a weird what if because, as Ninja mentioned earlier about a ruler class, and I mentioned Avenger, it's all about who is in the Grail. And the Grail, if the Grail was corrupted, you're going to deal with Avenger, and that was our main Fate route. Whereas for the Fate Apocrypha timeline, the Ainsburn summoned a ruler class, and which kept. I mean, the Grail, regardless, is corrupted, but it wasn't as corrupted with the ruler class. So that's where like the weird what if spinoff happens, because it has a lot of characters from Fate Zero and Fate Apocrypha, and they like mainly Waver, and Waver and Fate Zero summoned up Iskander, Rider class, and he is still referenced in Fate Apocrypha because he still holds the cloth that was used to summon Iskander, but it wouldn't make sense if they summoned a ruler, so the Grail wouldn't be corrupted, so Fate Zero wouldn't happen. But here is...
You see where it starts to wind down. You see that, right?
And you start to go, but how does this make sense? But essentially, this is a what if the Grail was not corrupted, and that Grail War kind of happened.
Fate is a whole rabbit hole, and I tell everybody, it's just like, if you really want to be involved in it, like, you have to go head first and don't look back.
Yeah. So the Fate Apocrypha is a what if of a lesser Grail was found by a family called the Yggdrasil Millennia clan. Yeah, say that 10 times fast, Yggdrasil Millennia. And there are 14 servants.
14 servants.
And 14 masters. And this one I suggest to people, if you just want a quick rundown of Fate and just with no knowledge of anything, you just want to watch something Fate and just watching something clear cut through. It's just, I recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's 24 episodes. It's subbed. It's dubbed. It's its own thing. And if you liked it, I tell people go deep dive into more Fate.
What was that one game that was Spellbreak? That was it. It's a mage battle royale. That's basically what Fate is. It's a mage battle royale. But like Apocrypha said,
oh no,
make it teams. Apocrypha said make it teams.
No.
So you have two teams.
No, to quote my friend Jason, Fate is best described as Tri-Wizard Hunger Games.
He's not wrong. He's completely
not wrong.
Correct. He is absolutely correct.
It is everybody. They're all trying to get this fancy cup. They're all wizard, and it's the battle to the death. Tri-Wizard Hunger Games.
That's basically what it is, and it's funny because that's what Fate Stay Night, Fate Unlimited Blade works. Technically, but like Fate Apocrypha did said, we're making teams, and then we're gonna put the teams against each other, and then we're just gonna select somebody from our team to be the representative. Like that's what they did, but they did teams. Yeah,
and then again, you'll see some more characters from Fate Zero referenced in this series, like Kire. He is referenced in this series to one of the characters, and it's like, if it's one of those quick and you miss it, and if you miss it, it's fine. It's like an Easter egg if you know any Fate knowledge, but if you're just watching it just to get something Fate in your life, there you go. And then that's where we also have the fun video game of Fate CCC's Fate Extra.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Fate Go, and I was like, fun.
No, we're not gonna talk about that. That's like a whole other video, a whole other podcast.
That's probably be a part 2 if you guys want it. We'll talk about Fate Go in its entirety.
But basically, Fate Extra also was not ported to America. It was for PlayStation 2 and then got ported again PlayStation 3 in Japan. But it's basically a parallel universe to where they're having Grail Wars on the moon. Yes, the moon. I forget how many years in the future, and that's its own universe too. Like, it has its own rules. The only thing it has,
Fate is a rabbit hole.
And the only thing that's similar is it's a Grail War, 7 servants, but this deals with something that's happening on the moon, and it's a whole thing, and it's a mess, and it branched off to the Fate Extella games. And,
which are digital fates, which
you can play Fate Extella on PlayStation 4 and Fate Extella Link on PSP or PS4, one of those.
PS Vita.
Vita, okay.
Because I believe I had Extella Link for my Vita when it came out.
Okay.
You could probably still play that even though the Vita is discontinued and they're stopped making games for it.
And you can still buy it. I know.
You can still buy it because it's also on the PS4 as well.
Yeah, and it's in the PlayStation Store, so you can buy that. And oh my god, was there? And then
There was a recent Fate game that came out like either early last year or late 2019. I forgot which one it was, but it was for the PS4 as well.
Right, I forget what it was too. And then that brings us to, we're going to briefly go over Fate Go, which is the popular mobile game that also spawned an arcade game, Fate Arcade.
This gacha game is straight hell. I'm not going to hold anything back. This gacha game is literally money bags. Like, it is. That's how Aniplex gets. Like, was it Aniplex?
Yeah, they.
That's how they get all their money from Fate Go, because it's basically almost pay to win.
Like, to put in perspective, if any of you guys listening to this play Genshin, it's kind of like the gacha Genshin, but the rates in Fate Go are abysmal.
Like, y'all thought Genshin rates were bad? Like, if you actually see the data on Fate Go about the rate pools, it is like 0.001 to get a really high rated, not even a high rated, probably just a mid-tier servant.
And it's, to make it worse, Japan, when the game first came out in Japan in 2016, they had to change their gacha laws for when it comes to microtransaction games, because they saw how much money people were putting into this game and not getting yielding results, that were like Japanese legislation said, hey, you have to change these rates because these people are literally going broke and you're not giving them what they promised. So the Lightworks had to change the gacha rate just a smidge, just to make it more fair. And I use that in quotes, but the rate up,
definite high quotes, because it's not fair still.
Rate up is a lie. So, but that also spawned Fate Arcade, which is also not available in America yet, which objectively is just as good as the mobile game, but it has a lot more features and the storylines are different, and I really want to play this, but there has been no signs of that coming to America, unfortunately.
Not anytime soon.
So if you want to play Fate Arcade, you have to go to Japan. And I think that's all the major video games. And oh yeah, I forgot, Fate Extra also had an anime. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Fate Extra didn't have an anime. Apocrypha and I think Studio Dean and Unlimited Blade Works are all on Netflix if you want to watch them.
So Fate Extra was actually produced by the same studio that made Madoka Magica. I forgot the studio. It started with an S, but basically they did that. Shaft, that's what a studio.
Shaft, there you go.
Yes, Shaft. And basically, do not watch Fate Extra on I cannot stress it, do not watch it on Netflix unless you watch a YouTube video explaining the game that is around, because that game, me who watched a video because the game is not in America, obviously was still confused because I did not realize it was a what if storytelling. If the main character from the video game lost that Grail War, the male MC had a second chance to fix what happened from where female MC failed.
Yeah, I went into it completely blind, and I was just like
I was confused.
I know these characters, but this story is not clicking for me.
I was like, this animation's really pretty, and I like what I'm watching, but I'm confused.
I'm hella confused. I was like, I'm gonna watch through it because Fate trash for life. But
and then once I looked up an explanation, I was like, oh, now this makes sense, and I had to rewatch it. And now that the full series is complete, because also Netflix and Japan also dropped the ball by not airing the last 3 episodes in general, so it left on this cliffhanger, and you're like, wait, is this it? And then Japan's like, surprise, we have 3 more episodes, and the Netflix like, can you all hurry up and give us these episodes so the story's complete, please?
Yeah, are we still waiting for those 3 episodes?
No, they're all on Netflix now. It's complete.
Okay, so they're all on Netflix.
Yeah, they're all on Netflix. And then Fate Grand Order, the mobile game, actually got technically now 3 animes. 3.
Yeah, 3. They came out with the short movie.
Yeah, which is Fate Grand Order First Order, which is basically the whole first mission in the game, the Fuyuki F, which gives the premise of, so basically Fate Grand Order's plotline is another what if storyline where humanity is on the brink of destruction, and Caldeus is the system in the game. Chaldea is trying to make sure humanity does not go extinct, so they hire all these mages to basically go into the past and fix the discrepancies that are ruining the timeline. But something goes wrong, because in true Fate fashion, nothing ever goes as planned, and they have to go back to the Grail War from Fate Stay Night. I'm using that in quotes because it's a what if scenario where all the servants were corrupted, and the main character Ritsuka and Mash have to fix this timeline, and some stuff happens that I don't want to spoil, but if you play the mobile game and watch it, you know what I'm talking about. And they basically have to travel through time to fix it so humanity does not die. So that was the first OVA. You can watch that on Crunchyroll. I believe VRV has it as
yeah, Verve has it.
Yeah,
Verve has it, and Crunchyroll still
has it. And Funimation might have it dubbed. Yes, Funimation does have it dubbed. Yes, I watched it dubbed with a friend. And then that's when they also animated Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Fate Babylonia. Wow, that's a mouthful. Which was the only reason it got animated, because there was a poll results in Japan where the two topmost ranking of the original storyline from the mobile game, they will be animated. Number one will get animated into a full-length animated TV series, and number two will become a movie length. So number one was Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia, and who became a movie was Camelot, and they
wait for Camelot to come out.
And Camelot will be a 2-part movie. Part one is, if things go well, we're still in the whole pandemic, so it's supposed to come out later this year, and that one covers an arc that Ritsuka goes through, which it's weird how this happened, but because licensing and the way art studios work, Babylonia came out first, even though that takes place after Camelot in the game, but it's okay. Camelot takes place before, but that movie comes out later this year, so you can watch Babylonia first if you want, or just wait for Camelot. And then they also did a quick OVA of Into the Light Room, which was to prepare mainly the US viewers for the new upcoming ARP in the mobile game, and to treat Japanese fans, because they're 2 years ahead, because they have the game before us, obviously, of hey, remember this is getting animated, that leads up to the second part of the storyline in the game.
Yeah.
So that is all the anime that is out now, but we have the little asterisk because there is another Fate anime called Fate Chronicle Phantasm, which, remember when I mentioned Tsukihime, that takes place in the same universe as Fate, and it happened about a year before the Fate Stay Night stuff, and it's just basically a goofy free-for-all anime. Like, it was like I think like less than 10 episodes, I think.
I think it was about 8-9 episodes.
Yeah, and it's just like everyone having fun in this universe, just cracking jokes. It's like a bunch of little mini shorts into an episodes, and it's really cute and wholesome. And then they recently just did a Fate Carnival Phantasm for Fate Go, which was hilarious. You're gonna have to look on YouTube or other websites for it, because it's not dubbed yet technically or licensed yet. So pirates, y'all know what to do.
Hardy har, y'all know where to go.
So that brings us to, how should one watch the Fate series? Ninja, how would you recommend someone watching this series?
Okay, so if you're new, if you're like straight out new to Fate, I would suggest ripping off the band-aid and just starting with Studio Dean. Like that's how I tell all my people that want to get into Fate, because they usually come and ask me like, oh, how do you get into Fate? And I'm just like, look, you're gonna hate me, but watch Studio Dean Fate Stay Night. Like Fate Stay Night, watch that. Then you can either go to Fate Zero or Unlimited Blade Works, but I suggest going to Unlimited Blade Works, then Fate Zero. Then after that, it depends on how far you actually want to go into the Fate rabbit hole, because you can just start watching Apocrypha, because anything after those top 3 is basically their own story. So you can go into Apocrypha, you can go into, I wouldn't suggest Extella, because
That's its own, like I said, that's its own thing.
That's his own thing that you actually need like background information for, because I didn't have it. And I was just like, it's a good like, side watch.
Yeah. So if you go on Netflix and see what's Fate Last Encore, just put it to the side, because that's part of the
Fate Last Encore. There you go.
It's part of the Fate Extra universe, which again takes place on the moon, and it's like its own parallel universe.
If you haven't played any of the games, I would suggest not watching that
just watch
at all.
Or watch some YouTube videos that explains Fate Extra.
Again, it depends how deep you want to go into Fate after the first 3. But after that, I would suggest watching the Heaven's Feel movies once they're available. I was just watching that because that's still part of those main 3. It's just a movie trilogy. Then go to Fate Apocrypha if you want to. Go to Chronicle Phantasm. I'm gonna mention the forbidden one. Or you can go to Fate Iliasville Prisma, which is basically Madoka Magica but in Fate, and
it's filled with lollies. There's lollies.
There's lollies. This whole like it's basically a what like Fate took place in a magical girl setting, but Iriasville is the main character, basically.
And the worst part about that has also its own universe and rules too. It's called the Miiverse.
Yeah, we don't.
No
one really likes the Miiverse.
I don't, unless like you're into that stuff. Like, just watch that at your own risk.
Like, I wasn't into it, but like, I'm just like, I'm not a bitch. I'm gonna watch all the seasons. So I watched 3 seasons. They have 3 seasons, so I watched all of it.
And the worst part is it's still ongoing too. It's still
ongoing. The visual novel is actually still ongoing for the Miiverse, and I'm just like, I'm good after the 3 seasons. I'm good. I saw what I needed to see. My main character did something. I did a cosplay from it. That's all I wanted. I'm done with Iriasville.
Yeah, Ilya, just keep her 18 like she is in Stay Night. And
yes, she is 18 in Stay Night.
Just I hate that one so much. God, I could go on a whole tangent about that.
Then after you want to like go down that hole, if you so choose to, then you can watch the Fate Grand Order series, which is actually pretty well narrated. The story is pretty nice, and ADB, Absolute Battlefront, Demonic Battlefront, he has her husband in it as a main boy, so
as
she
a caster.
As a caster. Oh yeah, basically one thing. Every servant that you see is not limited to that class. I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah.
Every servant has a different class.
Yes.
And it's all topsy-turvy.
At least minimum 2. Almost every servant qualifies at least 2, and I'm not even counting Berserker, because all servants technically can qualify Berserker. That's just like, for example, Gilgamesh qualifies as a archer. He also counts as a caster. He also can technically count as a saber. He also can technically count as a rider.
Damn, he does have that ship.
Yep. And and if we follow like how Fate Go lore with Saint Martha, she's a rider because she killed Taras. We could technically call Gilgamesh could technically be a rider because he killed Humbaba the bull.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
And Saint Martha I know is a rider, but she can also be classified as a ruler.
Because she's a saint.
Because she is a saint. And I believe she has a caster class?
I'm not sure.
It's been a while since I played the game, but like
I'm not sure.
Every servant is different. Your boy Lancer qualifies as a Lancer and also qualifies as a saber.
And caster.
And a caster.
Yep. So it just depends on basically what happens with the magecraft. It depends on how they want to be summoned and what intent they put in, and also what servants have already been summoned by other mages as well. Determines what type of servant you're gonna
again get. A whole lot of what ifs, like
yes.
a lot.
And so for me, how would I recommend the series? It depends. Do you want a short watch or do you want a quick watch?
Yeah.
Or do you want a full encompassing watch? If you want a quick watch, go watch Fate Apocrypha. Just see if you want to get interested in the series. You want a short watch? I say go with the Grand Order animes. They're all done. It's all done. Like the movies, you don't even need it. Like you can just watch. Yeah. You can just watch the OVA. It's like the first order is like only an hour and 20 minutes, hour and some change.
It's an hour and 33 minutes.
Yeah, and Demonic Front. It's all on Crunchyroll. It's all on Funimation. It's 26 episodes and done. You're done. And if you like that, cool. But if you want the full encompassing story,
if you want the backstory, so you like everything pieces together,
then I say rip the Band-Aid off, watch Studio Dean. Then go back and watch Fate Zero. And then from there, I would honestly say watch Heaven's Feel next. Just because Unlimited Blade Works is good, but it does not give you more of Medusa, and Medusa is very key. And the only way you can know Medusa is a writer is if you watch Studio Dean, because she gets killed off so fast in Unlimited Blade Works. You're just like, why is Medusa a writer?
Everyone's like, who's Medusa? I'm just like, her.
Yes, her. So I say watch Dean first, watch Zero, watch Heaven's Feel, and then go watch Unlimited Blade Works. There you go. And then from there, you can watch whatever you want after that, because you basically know what Fate is anime wise, and you can just have a ball with it.
You can get all the inside Fate jokes. Speaking of Fate jokes,
no.
Do you mean no? We're not gonna tell them.
Go ahead.
So everyone knows like Dragon Ball Z has Team 4-Star doing the abridged series, but like Fate has its own set abridged series by what was it, Nighthawk?
No, it's Project Mouthwash.
Project Mouthwash, that was nowhere close. But Project Mouthwash has done a fantastic job doing these abridged.
And I am very picky with my abridged series because of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged and Team 4-Star. Like, I'm very picky with abridged series, and Project Mouthwash does a fantastic job. Like, their voice acting is really good.
Like really good. Like, almost on par with the dubs.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy their version of Archer's voice compared to the English dub. I'm like, no shade, but I'm just like, yo.
Yes.
Like, his voice is just really good.
Ren. I really love their version of that, and shout outs to them. They've done a fantastic job. They have a Patreon if you want to go support it and everything. Like, I'm not even gonna plug, like, I really love the abridged series and I really want to see it like continue, but like they're doing,
it's a lot of work to go into an abridged series.
It's really a lot, and like COVID like ain't helped with that at all.
Because they only got, I think, 7 episodes out technically, including episode 0.
Oh, 0? Yeah.
Yeah. So they have,
and they're going through the whole, the Unlimited Blade Work series.
Yeah. So that's 26 episodes, y'all. That's a lot. And
they're skipping a few episodes per episode. So they're scrunching up like 1.5, 2 episodes in one episode. So it's a lot.
So it's a lot. And the fact that they already got 7 episodes out and they've been doing this for, I think, 2 years now, that's quite an amazing feat for an indie team. So please support that if you like a bridge series. I can't believe we almost forgot about the bridge series.
I wasn't going to forget. I wasn't going to bring it up.
Thank you, actually, Satan. The power of
Damn it, Ren.
The power of Christ compels you. If you watch the bridge series, you will get this reference. And if you get this reference, thank you. Thank you for being.
If you get the reference, bro, you're a person of culture.
You're a person of culture. I think they're taking the servant part a little too literally.
Literally hands me a broom and a dustpan. Go clean up that room.
But yeah, if y'all want Fate, please feel free to hit either one of us up. We're both big Fate heads.
We'll gladly point you in the right direction, down into the abyss of Fate.
Yes.
I've done it before and I will keep doing it.
Yeah, as of this airing, I still have 10 slots left on my friends list if you played the North American server of Fate Grand Order. So message me if you need some supports. I have a lot of
don't look at my name on that game. Don't look at my name on that game. I quit so long ago, and like YouTube is not making it any bit easier to stay away.
Yeah,
because they bumped up their advertisements to holy hell. Like every YouTube advertisement is about Fate Go.
Can't relate, so I don't get those advertisements because I play. But yeah, feel free to add me. Shoot me a message if you want to add me on there. I will help support you because I love helping people with my high level Gilgamesh.
Whatever.
See, you wouldn't have this problem if you played the game.
I don't want to play it anymore. It's stealing my money, bro. I got bills to pay.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. It is your girl Danny, aka Nekoyasha.
And it's your boy Ninjasenpai. You can find me on Instagram at Ninjasenpai Cosplay, or you can find me on Twitter on Ninjasenpai69.
Nice.
Fucking mint.
I hate it. And y'all know y'all can find me obviously on the Blurred View on at Nekoyasha09 on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I mostly lurk on TikTok, but I am on TikTok. You can find me Nekoyasha on Facebook. Is there any other social medias? I feel like I'm forgetting the social. No, that's it.
No,
that's it. But yeah, this has been an episode of the Blur View where we talk about Fate, and we are out of here.